Hi there. My name is Dov Benyaacov-Kurtzman, and earlier this week I gave myself a 12-week challenge because there are certain things in my life that I want to do, and I find that it's sometimes so stressful. Something happens inside me that prevents me from doing them. And one of those things was doing these live broadcasts. I feel I have something to offer, something to contribute to maybe help others raise the quality of their life. But I find that when I want to do this, when I want to create a course or I want to come on and make a video or do a live, that something kind of comes up inside me and makes it very difficult for me to do, even though I've been doing it for a number of years now. So I gave myself a 12-week challenge to come on every single day and do a live video, no matter what, no matter where I am, no matter what happens, no matter what my timetable is. If I can do it in a kind of professional way with a nice background and look good, then that's what I'll do. And if I'm not able to do that, then I'll do it anyway. So today's subject is about being overwhelmed. Sometimes when we want to change your behavior, this is my third live, for instance, right? So I'm doing all right so far, but sometimes life just gets in the way, right? So we've got lots of things we're doing. Things happen that are unexpected, and sometimes they all come at once, and we get that feeling of being overwhelmed. And the problem with being overwhelmed, apart from the fact that we're overwhelmed, is that if we're trying to do a new behavior, that kind of becomes victim very quickly. And we're like, no, we can't change that around. I'll go back to my original patterns of behavior because it's what I know, it's what I'm familiar with, and I try to get through the day. And more often than not, when things start to calm down again, we kind of lost that will for change, and we're just like, okay, I'll just stay the way I am. And that can be whether we're smoking, we're drinking, we're gambling, we're doing all sorts of unhealthy behaviors, let's say. And so I brought a book, as I'm trying to do every day, to help us with these issues. And today's book is Mindfulness and Acceptance Workbook for Stress Reduction. Okay, and this is by Frederick Leifheim, Frank W. Bond, Daniel Eck, and Bjorn Skogard Hedensjö. Okay, and one of the things that they bring is called do the opposite. Now, just before I bring that, one of the things that I take on myself when things get kind of feeling of too much happening at the same time is I give myself two things to do in the day. I say to myself, right, instead of just sitting down and kind of blanking out, which sometimes what happens if we're getting overwhelmed, we just can't do anything. I say to myself, I'm going to do two things of value, of importance today, and that's it. Now, when you think about it, if you do two things today and two things tomorrow and do things the next day, you're going to get at least 12 things done in a 6-day week, where maybe you would have got nothing done in that week. So in the end, you get quite a lot done. And you get that feeling that it's not that overwhelming, but you still get things done in your life rather than looking back and saying, that whole week just went. So in this book, though, they have another interesting look at this, and they say do the opposite. So they challenge you to do the opposite, or at least try a different approach, they say, to stretch your behavior a bit. By doing the opposite, two exciting things might happen. You learn that it's not the end of the world, and that you're free to act in new ways. And that's a really important thing, I think, about behavior, because we're so habitual in our behavior that sometimes we just don't really realize that there are other ways of doing things, and we can actually do that. And by experimenting, we can actually realize that there are other ways. And you know what? It might actually free us up to do other things. So they give an example. If you always prepare a report or a presentation at work meticulously, then try doing it much more easygoing next time. Now, they obviously don't say you have to do it all chukumuku and, present a rubbish presentation. But the idea is that you just do it in a different way that's a bit more laid back and relaxed. And I find that's kind of similar to my do two things, like slow things right down and actually find that you can get a lot done in the end. So I'm going to leave you with that with today's live, is do two things of importance a day. Of course, if you do more, then it's always a bonus, but two things, and that's you. And then you can do what you need to do for the day. So hope that was useful for you. See you tomorrow.